Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome to the Atlanta United Fan TV post-game reaction show. Man, that's a lot of words. I don't know how many words I'm going to have tonight for this. My voice is kaput. But we will carry on because we have to celebrate a win. And not just any win. A win against the best MLS team in history of the league. We beat them in a playoff situation at home. Couldn't have been better. Electric environment. Outstanding. Just cardiac kind of upsetting goal scenarios. I mean, this game had not everything, but man did it have a lot. It was enough to put everyone on edge. I mean, a late extra time stunner from Zonde. Who saw that coming? I certainly didn't. And then how did Pedro keeps doing it? He just keeps putting it on a platter for our guys. I cannot believe that, man. And Williams finally found it. He finally found his goal. I remember an interview with him in the beginning of the season where he talked about, when he scored for his other teams. He's like, oh, if I could just get one, I can keep going. I can keep scoring. As a defender, that was his mentality. And he finally got his. So maybe he can continue. That was so good to see him finally get that. Man, there's a lot about this game. There's some things also that were a bit of red flags and concerns. We'll get into them, like Miranchuk being perhaps chiefest of those things. I remember Glenn was talking to me he was sitting next to me in the stadium, and he had some choice words about his play. And I remember I was also talking to Bill Gluckman, friend of the stream, also said not that Miranchuk was the problem tonight. Conversely, he thought he was actually one of the best players on the pitch. He did very well. So, a lot of opinions, a lot of different views and takes. I am running on maybe 4 hours of sleep. And man, that was a adrenaline shot straight to the heart tonight. Haven't felt the bends like that in a long time. It felt reinvigorated, revived. It was incredible. It was an incredible experience. And if you got to go there, got to be it and sharing it, you were treated to something special. So hopefully we can revel in that a bit tonight, as well as go over some of the parts of the game and without getting too late into the night, which it kind of already is getting there. But thank you very much for hanging out with us, and we can also get into some of the things that weren't that spectacular that worry us for the next game. AJ, welcome in, eating popcorn because you had one hell of a blockbuster to watch tonight. Tell us about it. Tell us what you thought about it, everything. Just dig right in to that popcorn.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, the popcorn's ready for this match because, boy, was it entertaining. I mean, there were a good bit of moments that's some heart and mouth. Looking at you, Guzan, unfortunately, with that. That's a very unfortunate moment, I feel like. It's not entirely his fault. It is, the defender did get in the way. It kind of put him off, which is kind of what they're there to do. And, yeah, it's probably one of the biggest gaffes in Guzan's career, for sure, I would say. But thankfully, the boys were able to pick him up. And Guz made some really great recoveries in terms of that as well. In terms of, some of the saves tonight. Point blank, at least two of them he had zero time to react. And kick saves, almost from zero range, being able to collect it with his hands. And so, yeah, I mean, it's coming in, you're thinking, okay, yeah, nothing to lose. Backs against the wall. f.e.a. Let's just play with, some looseness, some, kind of just doesn't matter what happens in that sense. And I think we could tell that, I mean, that first half, we were, I think, the more direct team, the more dangerous team. Even though Miami, I think, had their moments a little bit, but yeah, I mean, it was Messi. He didn't do shit, really. I mean, he got a chance in the box that he probably should have put away, really, but it, was out. It was wide, and man, I mean, it's one of these where it's an inexplicable goal that they get, kind of the go ahead, but we were able to win that second half. And Derek Williams finally getting his first goal. Yeah, the XG on his shots, like, he's underperformed it like crazy, but he finally was able to score his first goal for Atlutd United, and in the stead of Stian Gregerson, who obviously went off injured this past match, but yeah, was able to do something for us.
That was one of the ways I predicted we'd score. It was, but with Stian off of like a set piece or something, but ended up being Williams to rise to the occasion, and boy did he.
Yeah, and we needed it. And it's one of these where, as well, like, these guys don't know when
to say die.
Yeah, and it's like, it's essentially, I mean, we're like makeshift defense as well. Brooks Lennon is out. Ronald Hernandez stepping up. I mean, it was a little bit of a three-man back line type of situation, a little bit. And Pedro Amador, kind of giving a little bit more license to roam forward. And with Ronald Hernandez kind of in the back three.
That guy can do whatever he wants. He wants to play. If he wants to go to the right side of the field, he can. I don't care.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, it's like, if he wants to start shooting from the right side, okay, come on, man. If you get a good look, just let it pop. But I mean, yeah, he put it on an absolute platter for Derek Williams, and he was able to stay on side. Good run, good header. I mean, it was the way that Amador, just created space for himself, and kind of let the ball run off of him into space to be able to get that footwork right. And it's just beauty. And then
7 assists in 12 games.
Yeah, that's insane. And I mean, he's not going to be able to replicate that, but it's still fantastic for us right now.
If that's a taste of next year, I'm all for it.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's one of these, the Benz, the atmosphere, I haven't heard it that loud in years. It was, when Silva scored, it was the loudest that I've ever heard it in the Benz. It was like, the top wasn't on, because if the top was on, man, it would be even more deafening. It was insane in terms of the atmosphere tonight. Night and day from every game pretty much we've had this year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just the goal itself, us slicing through their defense from the middle, just incisive play. Beautiful. And then Silva, takes one touch.
Stepping up.
Yeah.
Another one of those players stepping up who has not done a lot this season, all of a sudden is now coming due. I mean, of course, I said it in the stadium, it's like, now is the best time for that to happen, but it's frustrating that it's taken it, but it's like, is that okay now? Are the sins absolved for you? Now that Zonde has won the game against Miami in the most improbable way.
Yeah. I mean, the way you took that touch and then confidently put it in the top bins, left top bins, is just wow. I mean, you would think he was doing that all season. I mean, and then he knew, he's not getting a start. It's kid's coming off, so why not? It's celebrated. I mean, this is a scalp for sure in terms of a great win. Can we can we continue it? That's really the goal in question. And I mean, on the road, we're gonna really have to do some business. But I mean, for us to pretty much, I mean, be the only team to, you know, if we're like saying points off of Inter Miami, I mean, we've gotten 2 wins in a draw this season, and it's, as far as their opponent, we've gotten the most points off of them this season. And yeah, now their backs are against the wall. We have momentum. What can we do with it? That's really going to be what's really, really fascinating, because Rob Valentino, he was also embraced at full time by Tata Martino with some grins on their face. It's definitely kind of like protege, some mentor mentee. I mean, it's just a great moment for Rob Valentino as well, and really happy to see that for him, because it is, he's had to really really drag us through the dredges, and for us to be able to still be playing in November, just would not have guessed that.
No one would have.
3 months ago, hell, even in May, would not be thinking that we're still playing, because it was that dire. So really incredible stuff. And I mean, it's just vibes. It was the most for sure.
We were dancing, singing. It was just like, like I said, my voice is done. Like it was pandemonium, straight up bedlam in the Benz. It was wonderful. I mean, it was fun to know, like, because we get people coming to our Discord from other Discords, other fans of MLS and things like that, and they're just like, listen, the whole league, even Orlando fans, they got your back in this game. They want you to win. We all want you to win, and we're just like, we did it. We came good for them. And it was like, it's pretty funny that it's like everyone in the league is like rooting for you except for Miami fans. So it was interesting. I guess it feels like a bit to be like, and everyone else besides like a Patriots fan in the NFL. So
it pretty much kind of is, and it's like no one wants to play Messi in Miami except for us, really. I mean, we're relishing the moments, and I think there was a moment where Derek Williams, I think he fouled Messi, but even just I think the bravery to get near him, to not be in awe, which I think I've harped on, because it's important, because as good as Santiago Sosa was in some moments, that match against them in Fort Lauderdale really exposed the frailty, the softness in our underbelly. And I think you have guys stepping up to the challenge instead.
No one's shying away. It's great to see.
I love that.
I mean, like everyone, I said, the big thing I wanted to watch for this game was to see certain points in this game where the team showed their grit in their fight, that they didn't want to give up, and various points, like multiple points, you just saw the team acting as a unit to try and fight and win back balls. Like I remember when we were watching the game in the stands, we were seeing 50-50 ball scenarios, and we were all like, get to that, win that, you gotta win that. And what did they do? They did a lot of times. A lot of other times when we watch this team play, they lose, that ball gets away and it ends up hurting us. But this time, they put in that little extra bit every now and then, and it really just paid off. It really just made Miami uncomfortable. They were, struggling to not connect passes. They didn't have the issue of, like connective tissue or anything like that. But when the ball was 50-50, we let them know we were also playing in this game. We didn't roll over, and that was fantastic to see. That was definitely the big thing I wanted to see. Even if we lost, I just wanted to know Miami knew we were here to fight, and we did that.
100%. I mean, it's like this. It's like the main bit, exactly what you're saying, is that we showed up. We were loud. We were rowdy. We made them feel us there. And I mean, when's the last time you could say that the Benz was a factor like that? Like that's really, I think, the main point here is that the fans really do have an effect.
Yeah.
And
after the gaff, we didn't let it get to us. Like the fans still were right behind everything. So, we didn't lower our heads or anything like that. Everyone propped ourselves back up. It was great to see. This team didn't know how to be sad or moody or temperamental or anything. It was just one thing on the mind. Let's win this game, and they did it. It's just, we talked about this beforehand. We talked about this in the previous games. I mean, even in the one that we did lose to Miami in Miami, there's just like no reason. There's no business that we have in winning these games and playing the way we are, but we just keep doing it. We continuously make a habit of the improbable, and it's just it defies logic. And so this is going to be something. This is going to be a season that people remember as this bizarre, weird. We did that. We were there that year, and we made the whole league scratch their head and take a double take at the standings and look at the scoreline again and go, wait, hold on a second. Matt Doyle said Miami was going to flatten us 4-0, stuff like that. So it's just it's, and that's
the thing,
incredible.
So Lionel Messi has not scored at the Benz. There have been 3 games that I've seen him at the Benz. He hasn't scored in any of them.
Yeah,
it's kind of wild. I mean, selfishly, I think during the Copa America match, I was really hoping he did score, but just so I could see it, say it happened. But no way in hell I was wanting him to score against Atlanta United, and we've been able to do that.
Yeah,
and we've been able to stop him in 2 consecutive matches.
And that is a question I want to ask one of our guests when they come on in a little bit. But before we get to that, I want to go over a couple of the comments because we got a lot of them coming in tonight. Of course we do. It's a Messi game. It's a Miami game. And somehow we won. So people have got questions. And Suraj Giwa says, Vamos ATL. Jack Dickens says, wow, wow, wow. I was at a friend's house watching on my phone. I went crazy when Zondes scored that winner. Incredible. Maverinus Guzan says, hey guys, I've got an early morning, but I need to express my feelings regarding this magical night.
Let's go.
Yeah, first he says, I want to thank the club and the SGs for honoring Macaroni Tony. And when I moved back to Atlanta in the summer 2018, my cousin urged me to check out Atlanta United and join the footy mob. I'm a bit of a hooligan spirit, but slow to open up to new crowds. Tony was the first individual to see me and my awkward ass and welcome me into the group like family. He was everything I hoped for an Atlanta footy fan would be. I truly believe that he guided that Silva shot into the back of the net. With that being said, I have not heard the Benz that electric since 2018. Damn, Maver, you got a lot to say tonight. He also says, I'll get rid of, I'll just go through all the things he said so we can just make sure we get that.
Yeah, this is the dissertation.
Yeah, we got a dissertation, a thesis. Mary says, I don't care what happens next weekend. This is all I ask from the club. Even with a shorthanded roster, they showed some damn heart. Now on to the negatives. Do we blame Guzan or the crappy turf for slipping and giving up that first goal? How did you guys feel about the officiating? And lastly, sorry for not really addressing much of the match. Tonight was a really emotional win after such a stressful season. I just have so much hope for the future. The loyal yet critical fans deserve this. Yes. Yeah, thank you for all that. Appreciate you, Mabry, for putting all that in the chat. We'll get to a lot of that. Let me get to a couple more before we jump in with Niall, because there's a few of these in here tonight. Liz, 81, David 80 says, so did I was yelling from downstairs to my son, and I was upstairs. They did it. I am having trouble reading this because I'm tired. Who was upset? They did it. Silva got that goal. My heart was racing like I was the one who made the run and made the goal. LOL. Justin Florinori says, living this playoff Atlanta team right. I was one of the naysayers, but I'm back, baby. Loving this playoff Atlanta team. Jack Diggins says, Pedro is a striker's dream. Justin also says, sign Pedro to a long-term deal, please. Rios couldn't hear the whistle. Superman says, +1 to Mabry. Christopher Weary says, Zonde had a similar shot that he missed in the previous game. He also said, Superman also says, can't ask any more of this team and staff of everything that's gone down this season. Redondo feinted towards him as he was releasing the ball, looked to pull out of it to avoid blasting him. As a coach, you tell your guys, remember, quote, he's just a man, but as a Messi admirer, I'm a bit concerned with Schließ as of late. Okay. I thought Schließ had a decent game, yeah, I mean, it's a concern for any football player because he's arguably the best to ever play the game. So, I wouldn't hold it against someone for them to be like, yeah, I really respect and admire him as a player, and I never thought I'd be playing against him in an MLS game in the United States. So, with that, let's get into talking with Niall. Niall, how you doing? Did you go to the game tonight?
A fresh face, Niall. Unrecognizable here.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you? Who are you?
I'm not Niall. I was at the game tonight.
Nice. Yeah. So, what did you think about it?
It was a really fun game. I mean, just the vibe, like just from even before the game started, were really great. Just the crowd. There was an amount of people there at the match, and then of course the game obviously was a crazy game as well. Obviously, the Brad mistake was pretty bad, and then you thought, it's probably downhill from there. It's a big mountain to climb when you make a mistake like that. Then the team responded, I thought, pretty well. I mean, you had Amador with a great ball to Williams, and then of course Shande, who I remember, I think when I was on last time, we were talking about how he's not been that great. He comes on to score the winner. Which was pretty good for him as well, considering how tough the season has been for him. But yeah, it's a good win for the team, and now on to game 3.
Dude.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what do you think of Messi? Is he in a bit of a rut right now, or did we just completely shut him down?
I mean, he is not I think we've played how many 5 games with him, right, or something around
like that.
And he's only had, I think, 1 goal that he scored against us. I think that was the very first meeting we had with him. So I think we've just had a good game plan with him, because I think for pretty much every other MLS team, or for most of them, he's scored against them. So I think it's just with the way that we have planned around him, because obviously I think one of the things that people might kind of get mistaken is that or that teams might overdo is just focusing on Messi. You can't just focus on Messi. You have to focus on the other players that are around him. By just focusing on Messi, you're gonna leave a lot of space. So I think that's something that I think maybe some teams overestimate a bit.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't super focus on him the first game in Miami, and it gave him a good amount of space and a lot of opportunities, and Guzan stuffed every single one of them. And in this game, it seemed like either he didn't have the space or he just didn't feel like trying to attack on his own as much. Maybe, I don't know, maybe he's fearful of Brad Guzan, so I have no idea. It was I thought it was a little inexplicable. I thought I would at least see like a couple of, Messi bangers, like at least attempted, but I think he only had like one that was like it was teasing, if I remember correctly, but ultimately didn't go in. So I don't know, it's kind of weird to me that he almost seems like neutralized.
Yeah, it's probably a little bit that Brad Guzan's in his head a little bit at the moment, because he had some pretty clear-cut chances in Fort Lauderdale that was able to be stuffed out. And I think Lionel Messi, obviously, he's going to bounce back. He's going to figure out a way to score. I think it's just the main bit is if we can keep it to just one. And yeah, if it won't kill us. If he assists, if he starts, finding more space, that's really where I think we'll get in trouble. But I mean, obviously, we've been able to handle it with Pedro Amador, with I believe as well, kind of all three midfielders. Just kind of, I think making sure that we limit the space for him in the middle to be able to operate. And so I think it's everyone, having to pick up Messi and not being afraid to get stuck in with him. I think that's so important. Yeah. And that's why I didn't mind Derek Williams, kind of give him some, like roughing him up a little bit. I think Messi took, some issue with it a little bit, but, definitely. And as well, I think to address like Miranchuk's performance, because we kind of talked about it a little bit, like that. Yeah, I think it's this. His performance tonight went under the radar for me. But yeah. What'd you think? No.
I mean, his performance did, I think, definitely go a bit under the radar. I mean, for me, I think that's also kind of what's going to happen when you're also looking at the players on Miami's team, like with Suarez, Messi, Alba, those players. But I think, Miranchuk had a decent match. I mean, he had the assist for the Shande goal. I think it's interesting because there's been matches where I think he's maybe struggled a bit to adapt to the league, but then there's other times where it's like you see his quality and you feel convinced about what he can bring. So I think he's still, for me, trying to adjust himself to the league. And for me, my hope is that with better players around him, I think next season and maybe with more of a specific role with the coach under him, I think he will be able to flourish more. I think it's important to understand, like, he's not the guy type of player. He is more of a contributor player. He needs other players around him to be effective.
Yeah, I agree completely. That was my point to Glenn, because Glenn emphasized that, like, he kept watching Miranchuk play tonight, and he kept seeing him not really follow up lost balls, being dispossessed a little too easy. Not, like there was a pass a Miami player made where the ball like literally like went like right past his feet. All he had to do was kind of stick his foot out like a centimeter to like stop the pass, but he just couldn't be bothered to do that. It wasn't like the ball was going fast or anything. He was just like, just step behind. It's like, whereas you're in a playoff scenario against Messi, why is your adrenaline not going like at 1,000 miles per hour, and you're performing at a like above your normal human level at this stage? But I guess I don't know. Like it seemed like he wasn't in it for like the moment. Like it didn't feel like he was fully. I mean, and it's also to a degree like the moment for him is in Europe. Like winning the Europa League, not necessarily like in a playoff match in MLS. So I can see where maybe he's like, I'm not gonna like go absolutely insane. I could see an argument for that, but
And also, now you're about to say something, but go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say also, I think there are some players who, like, especially if you're an attacking player, you're not going to be as, like, willing, well, not willing, but you're not going to have as much fun running back and, like, tracking back as much, because you obviously want to go forward. And so I think, you know, that's maybe, but also maybe part of the issue with Alexi as well. He's not going to track back as much as he maybe would want to, because he's more of a guy that wants to go forward.
I mean, he doesn't.
Yeah.
My issue, I guess, is that he doesn't. I mean, it's not necessarily my issue, but I heard the issue voiced in that it seems more like it's not that he's not tracking back. He's not tracking anywhere. Is that he kind of is? I remember I called him a hold-up striker. Like, he was playing like a hold-up striker. Like, you know, the ball just kind of pings off of him, and then the attack happens, which is, you know, what some 10s do. So, you know, that could be the way he is deployed and played, and that's the way he's most comfortable to play. And if that's the case, I think with better players, like alluded to earlier, he could be way more effective than he is currently right now. He's not the guy, like you were pointing out. He's more of a facilitator, and I think, you know, with better players, that could go a long way.
Yeah, I mean, it is the case. It's a little bit of this too. That's why the game has gone away from the number 10 position as a massive viable strategy for teams to win. Lionel Messi has been more so moved outright in his career in the latter stages to accommodate for that. And yeah, him going against players one-on-one, that's still one of his strengths, and in tight spaces where he's going to be marked with two players. So that type of player is now a little bit more either out wide, or they are kind of forced to be a little bit more two-way players. And Miranchuk, I mean, I think he does the work defensively at times. It's just not full 90s. And there are some luxury players that teams sometimes have to carry, especially in MLS. And I don't see it as the absolute, biggest detriment to this team or anything like that, even though, yes, it does kind of create space for, some opposition if they can take advantage of it. So, yeah, I can see why maybe there's some disdain maybe for some of the work rate, but
is he giving you $15 million worth of DP effort?
I think that's more valued in his attack numbers, his stats there, versus what he's giving us with energy, with his physicality.
So you'd say overall he is?
I would say, I mean, he's not quite there from his attack. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's just a little bit below par, if we're going to use a golf term. In that he's not quite, but he's almost there in terms of some of the value. I think we still have to see more. He's not going to, provide 15 million worth of value in, a half season. So
yeah, I agree. I think so too. I think that with a more, like I said, a complement of players that are more geared toward his play style next season, we'll see him hit that potential, and I think you'll see him be worth that amount. So it's just not, some fans are saying they're expecting a lot for seeing a big number value like that, and they're not in their minds seeing it yet. So, I
mean, if Messi didn't score in this match, I mean,
that's a good point.
You're expecting someone that's worth way less in terms of that. I mean, it's yes, he is at home, but again, it's some players are a little bit, like I said, more of the luxury players, and as long as he provided the assist for the winner, like it's Silva still had a lot to do, yes, but I mean that sequence was incredible.
Yeah,
like when was the last time we played through the middle like that? I mean, probably the last time was maybe Miranchuk to Wolf, but it wasn't that close to the box. It wasn't like this. So yeah, I mean,
what do you guys think about Sleesh? So one of our commenters, Superman, said that they're a bit concerned with him. I think one of the aspects of that concern was a bit of a Messi admirer. Do you guys think similarly?
I'm confused on like where I don't see where the Messi admirer part comes into play. I think Sleesh had a pretty decent game, and also too like Messi is always going to have space regardless of how well you try to like take care. Like it's impossible for any player to like have control of him completely. That's not how it works, and also it's not wise to just like be constantly stuck to him as well. So I don't know. I feel like maybe sometimes we kind of like over pick, or like we're a bit more picky about some types of things that I don't really think have that much relevance or any relevance at all. Like Sleesh had a pretty good game. You know, he was solid today in my opinion. So he didn't put any noticeable foot wrong. So for me, that's all I can really ask for.
Agreed.
Right, and it's a little bit of this too. It's to be touch tight to Messi. Good luck, because he's gonna find a way to, meg you or play it over you, or I mean, it's just like sometimes you do have to sit off of him until you get into some tighter spaces, and I think that's really what it is as well. It's like Schleich. Okay, so Messi was playing a little bit in some of the central areas, but kind of more of the kind of just right at the D, that pocket, that zone essentially. And I mean, like the moment that he actually was the most dangerous was the one that he put out wide, that he was able to kind of get in the box with. And I think other than that, we kept him in check.
Yeah,
like it really wasn't.
I mean, to the point about like staying off of Messi and not putting necessarily a lot of pressure unnecessarily on him, because I think he invites the pressure and will break you down when you do commit, and that opens things, and that's what he's looking for a lot of times. But if you don't, you kind of usher him to make a safe pass into a channel that is far easier defended overall. So I think, and I think I saw him make that pass way more tonight than making, incisive, lying, splitting, like, oh God, no, that type of pass.
Mm-hmm. In which there were still, I mean, like Messi still.
There's always going to be some, but I feel like there was quite a few of the just safe passes tonight from him.
Mm-hmm. Because there were some balls over the top to our back post that, we were able to obviously deal with all of them, but they were a little bit dangerous. I think it was the ball that Guzan had to make a point blank save at the back post, and I mean, if he wasn't there, if Guz hasn't been balling like Guz has, it would have been went past him, and it would have been a way different story. I mean, Guzan has been just a revelation in this past year, really, but I mean, especially the past month or two, it is this I asked you guys this because some people, I've been seeing it a little bit, but should Guzan have a statue?
Why not?
I mean, I think so. I mean, he's been the longest serving member of this franchise, and he helped Atlanta win MLS Cup, Leones Cup. Like, do we not remember those times?
I think Alec King was in goal for Leones Cup, but
I forgot.
He was in goal for Open Cup though.
Gold Cup. I got confused. It was Gold Cup and MLS Cup. That was my bad. And I think he's even during this period of tough times the past couple of years, he's still, I think, been trying to hold Atlanta United to the standard of winning trophies, and he's been, I think, pretty vocal when the club's not achieved their goals, and I think he just has done, I think, a lot that you can ask for in his position as like captain as well. So for me, I think he definitely deserves a statue here.
I mean, if the question is like you only get one statue, who are you gonna pick? I'm probably gonna not pick Guzan. But like if you're just giving away statues, then sure, put a Guzan statue up.
I mean, Mike, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium is effing huge.
It's not a real estate question. It's a do they want to put in a statue question, which I have apparently not, because they haven't yet. So who knows if they do it?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I think we probably have to be a little bit older than an 8-year club to probably have a statue yet. But in like 10, 15 years, well, there needs to be some statues, and. Yeah, I don't know if they will be before a Falcons player does, but I mean we've brought a championship to the city, and the Falcons haven't, so
Yeah, I just feel like we need a statue of probably Joseph, because I don't like what could possibly be a more successful player for Atlanta United, like theoretically even it would be very hard to. Because it requires like the league to be in a certain way. It requires various things to happen in a year. Like it's. I mean, it took Lionel Messi to be able to like rival some of his MLS numbers. Like it's ridiculous. So for me, it's like quite obviously, easily Joseph, and he needs to have one. And even if it's 10 years, for however long you need to be around to have a statue. It'll eventually be him.
Yeah. I think it's that. Yeah, obviously Joseph is the most deserving, but Brad Guzan, I mean, longest serving captain.
Yeah.
He's won, or been there for all of our trophies, like Niall was saying. I mean, yeah, it's as far as was it the most successful periods every single year? No, but I think sans 1 or 2 years out of the 8 years. Like, yeah, I mean, he probably has and does probably deserve a shout at least.
Yeah.
And the real question is, if it is a yes, what is the pose? I think it's him licking the ball, but I don't know about you guys.
I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to think about it. Not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Niall, what did you think about the officiating tonight?
I thought the officiating was okay. I mean, nothing that controversial for me. I don't think the ref was too involved, which in my opinion is a good thing. You don't want to have a referee be the main topic of a match, especially in a match like this. Much importance of a high spectacle match. So yeah, I thought the refereeing was fine.
I agree with them. Yeah, it's one of these. The ref easily could have made himself, the headline.
Yeah.
And what people talked about, and now his name's in the paper, and yeah. If you don't think refs maybe think about that, I mean, that's naive. That's just naive. It's like, yeah, who doesn't want their name in the paper next to Messi, right? Like, okay. So, I mean, I think I appreciate the humility from the refs in this match to not be, what dictated things. They instead were the entertainment purveyors. And I think they did a good job. They allowed the game to flow. And minus this, the stoppage time, which could have been longer, really.
Oh, yeah.
you know, in the end, it worked out for us because if we needed 4 more minutes after Silva scored, because really it was only like a minute and a half after he scored. I mean, it was pretty much done and dusted there after Silva scored. Very, very unlikely Inter Miami was going to be able to get another chance. So, yeah, I think I heard you, Mike, reacting to it like 5 minutes. It's like
it should have been more than 5 minutes, but then when we scored, I was like, thank God it wasn't more than 5 minutes.
yeah, because that would have been the most nerve-wracking 4 minutes if it went beyond that.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, it looked headed to penalties.
Yeah.
And would we all be able to collectively emotionally handle that with all the big names?
I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about that. That would have been rough.
I know. But that was a very real possibility. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's one of those things. It's like, were we going to mentally prepare ourselves for that yet? I mean, yeah. I think it was this. Because I think a lot of people that I talked to, and myself included, going into the match, I was zen. I wasn't worried. It wasn't like, like Messi and Suarez, they're going to smack us all up. It's going to be like, yeah, they had a lot of shots against us in Fort Lauderdale, but coming into this match, I was just like, I called it 2-1. And
I mean, they didn't scare me in Fort Lauderdale, to be perfectly honest. Like, they had a lot of shots, but Guzan pocketed Messi for whatever that was. And the rest of it just didn't really pan out. And the goal that we gave them it was basically a gift. So it was whatever to me. And then, of course, we gave them yet another gift this game, which, God, that has to stop. That cannot happen a third time. Please, for the love of God, that cannot happen a third time. But, if...
Not sustainable.
Yeah, so, if we don't give them a gift, we've been pretty much outplaying them in a lot of these games. And it's just that's really kind of the barometer I'm using. That makes me feel confident. That's why going into this game, I'm like, we have a realistic shot at this.
I wouldn't say we've outplayed them, especially in the first match. This game, I think it was a lot closer than the first game. I think we were just more clinical in our moments than maybe they've been. I think they've maybe lulled themselves into a false sense of kind of complacency where they think, we'll just create another chance. We'll score from that. But they haven't.
Yeah.
And
that Jordi Alba screamer didn't happen this game. I was waiting for it. I was waiting for one of the Barca boys to just pull something out of their ass, but they never did.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a lot. We closed down a lot faster, and that definitely is important. And I think we're learning from our mistakes a little bit, and ultimately, it's one thing that one mistake, and we were able to pretty much turn it around. And this type of energy, almost like positivity after a goal, hasn't been present since pretty much 2018, 2017. When we get scored on, it was immediately, ball back in the center circle, clap our team, it's fine, no big deal. We got scored on, we're gonna either get back in the game or, that's exactly what happened in this match. We, AJC always puts out, we're 1-11 and whatever when we get scored on first. Completely irrelevant in this match. We put it on its head. Doesn't even matter. We were able to. Again,
it's just another example of us just doing the improbable in this postseason run and a little bit before that. It's just what is Eleni good at doing? Yeah, or what are they absolutely terrible at doing too? It's they're just gonna do the opposite. They're just gonna somehow figure that all out and just be good in the thing that they've historically been atrocious in. It's just where is it coming from? It's in just what a reversal,
It is, and that's why you play the game.
Yeah.
That's why these things aren't played on paper, because I think most of our brackets. I mean, I hope we bust them.
Oh yeah, this will bust everyone's, like literally everyone's. I think. The ninth seed knocking out Miami. Come on now. Come on now.
They should be, right. They should be advancing to the next round. They should be in the MLS Cup final. They probably should win it. Who cares about should?
Yeah. Well, now we got Niall here. I'm gonna go over a couple more comments. You guys can chime in about them. Uzumaki Leon says that quote unquote tackle on TRA was all foot. Remember the guy, the ref kept. I think that part of was coming back to like the officiating question is like the official a few times would like cite that he was like, oh, it was all ball. He would motion that guy got the ball, when from everyone's perspective was like, ain't no way in hell the guy got the ball there. But my defense to his rulings a lot of times where it could be conceived of that the guy was going shoulder to shoulder and they were both making an effort towards it, and just TRA and whoever else this happened to just kind of fell over and the other guy just won the challenge. So how did you guys feel about Uzumaki's comment?
I mean, I feel like kind of picking straws at that point, because it's like you're gonna have, with these referees, you're gonna have things that are not called, but as long as it's kept under control to the point where you don't you don't mess up a big call, such as like the idea of taking a goal away when it's a goal, or not awarding a team a penalty when it's a clear penalty, then that's fine to me. Like, referees are gonna make mistakes. Like, if we expect them to be perfect, then that's kind of a naive thing for us to think.
Oh, completely agree. About that. Oh yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I obviously fully agree, but it is also, there is a rosy-colored sunglasses here with that. So it is like, yeah, we definitely, if we lost a penalty shootout or something like that, I think we would be looking at these moments a lot more with a glaring eye. And the foul, I mean, we were right there in front of it. It was a foul, but the possibility of us scoring from that angle, while pretty decent, it wasn't the best angle. No. I don't think it was like going to be a chance that was just ironclad, like a penalty, or like from the outside of the D, where it's like a good angle for us. It's like, we would still have a lot to do. So it would have provided a chance for us to get a lot of players in the box. But I think it's the ref didn't have a howler. No. I think you could tell kind of with the temperature of the fans in the stadium that it's like, okay, there were maybe one or two moments, but largely he kept the game in control. And I don't think there were, like, it wasn't where players were overly aggressive and it's just like people are up in arms because things aren't getting called equally. I think it was pretty fair for both sides.
What did you do you think perhaps, thinking about it from the opposite end of things, you think TRA might be looking for calls a little too much? Do you think he goes down a little too easily?
I think there is this aspect where, okay, if that's a no call, then was he embellishing? So it's like, okay, well, ref probably would have had to give him a yellow for simulation.
Yeah, because TRA went literally careening out of bounds, and he took like 30 seconds to get up and walk his way back.
So it's like, okay, obviously he was fouled. So, it's just that moment, probably would have and should have been officiated better, but I think, you know, in the large scheme of the match, we can brush it on the rug for now.
Yeah.
So, but
You have any thoughts on that,
What do you think?
Niall?
No, I mean I agree. Like the missed like fouls, or if that's what people want to think, like those chances are not, for me, chances of scoring a goal. Like that's just
Yeah.
Like I would more often think that the team would waste that chance, to be honest, from that far out. So I think, you know, we can kind of bury the hatchet on that, because at the end of the day, like I said already, the referee did not have any over control of the match. Like this was a match that didn't involve any huge controversy, which is something that happens a lot.
And it had a decent amount of physicality too, and so the fact that like it didn't boil over to, you know, hysterics and controversy, I think it was commendable to the ref, and it was commendable, you know, to the way the game was played overall. So you know, I'm just I'm happy about that. It was frustrating in the moment. I mean, I could hear everyone in the supporters section and around us was just howling about some of those calls. One was on Rios as well, if I recall correctly. Let me look at some more of these comments before we let you go, Niall. Fernandino Ronaldo says, quote, "The energy in the stadium, the fans, the atmosphere, the supporter section was energetic all night. I was there tonight. It felt like an MLS Cup final energy type of match." Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, I was saying this, and I think we should adopt this idea that beating Messi in the MLS playoffs, regardless of we get knocked out immediately after by another team, that, in my estimation, is still a trophy worth having. Beating Messi in the playoffs is the historically best MLS team to ever play in the league. We were able to beat them in the playoffs. I mean, that's a trophy to me. Just make a silly, ridiculous facsimile of the MLS Cup and put it in our trophy case that just has like a picture of Messi on it or something. That would be hilarious to me.
Mike, I'll take the scalp, but that is some Spursy shit, and I can't get behind that, man.
Well,
it's trophies. It's real tangible trophies for me, but
oh my god.
But I get you. I like the energy, but yeah, no, I can't do that type of Tottenham stuff, man. Like,
if Tottenham does that, that's kind of wild. if they put fake trophies in their trophy cabinet.
I mean, you know, they've won an Audi Cup, but this isn't a bash Tottenham live stream, so you know we'll just move on.
So Chris J says the game did not look like a 9 seed against the Supporters Shield winners. Did you guys think similarly to that?
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. This well, I didn't look at the numbers, but I don't think we had the lion's share of possession or anything.
It was 59. They had 59% overall.
Yeah. And I think we were we did a lot more with the possession that we had, because there were just more clear-cut moments that we had versus theirs. And yeah, I mean, it's as far as what was the XG? I'm curious there.
So like as we know, SofaScore has their own version versus what MLS does, but SofaScore's was, at least ours was at 0.95 and Miami's at 1.48.
So yeah, I don't know what that math is, but it's 60% better, probably, in terms of chance, something like that. Either way, it's like, yeah, okay, we absolutely were more clinical. That's just clearly and obviously the case. And yeah, I mean, I think we had the bigger moments too. We had I think, you know, with our ability, I think, to play in this kind of atmosphere. You know, I don't know. It's like Inter Miami. I think the way that Chase Stadium is set up, it's a little almost too open air. It's almost a little too like. I mean, I hope this doesn't like jinx it, and all of a sudden, you know, the Herons, all the fans of Inter Miami, like, are just super duper loud. But in that first match, it was like, okay, it was like an okay atmosphere.
Yeah. I remember
Like, it
specifically
wasn't-
saying it felt like we took the fans out of the game for at least a while in that game.
Yeah. And so it was like, yeah, I mean, I think it does have something to do with the age of kind of the supporters groups, I guess, in the sense of they haven't had, the years and years and years that other older clubs have, and not that we have it, but it's I don't think there's enough, I guess, ways for them to fill the space and fill the atmosphere with enough chance. Like, I don't know if they have some chance for Messi and Suarez and whoever else, but yeah, they're not singing it very much. It's it was pretty dead. It was kind of a library at times, and yeah, I think if we can get those allocated tickets for some of the loudest fans to go to Fort Lauderdale, I think we can make it a bit of a kind of dogfight for atmosphere, and that can really, I think, affect things. So we have a week to do it. I think there's some also kind of some synergy that's happening if we can kind of lean into the corporateness with Golf Lagerway at the helm, and that's what the players were saying, what the social media has been saying, where basically one of the main things that they were wanting the fans to do was wear the red, black, and gold colors, the 5-stripe colors, where we weren't outnumbered by pink shirts. Super important, which, I mean, I was looking around the stadium, it's like maybe one in every 20 people had a pink kit, which, I mean, if you look at the relativity of it, and it's Messi, it's all that, it's David Beckham's team, all of those factors coming in, I think we did pretty well in that.
Yeah.
And I think commending that, they deserve the credit. Players, social media, fans alike, I think can pat themselves on the back for not being a Messi sellout tonight.
Niall, final thoughts for us.
I mean, I think it was just a fun match. I kind of echoing everybody else's thoughts. This reminded me a lot of 2018 vibes. The fans, just the energy, and this has just been a fun series, and I'm hopeful to see what happens in this next matchup. The pressure is all on Miami now, so we'll see what we can do with it.
Yeah. All right, Niall. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk to you maybe for the next game too.
All right, peace, guys.
See you,
Always a
bud.
pleasure, man.
Have a good night. All right, so we have one more guest coming on today. Nick from All Stripes is coming in, and we got Kyle saying Zonde for life. In the chat, Connor Watson saying, I think my one complaint is Avilés grabbing and tugging when the ball was going to our strikers. Alan Alvarado says the crowd was wild. Is this one of the most atmospheric moments in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium? I was at the game and I seen Messi looking at the stadium looking like wow. I mean, I didn't see him do that. That'd be awesome if he actually did. I would be very, very happy that he's like, wow, Atlanta can bring it in terms of atmosphere and all that kind of stuff, like kind of a cathedral of soccer in Atlanta. That's in the United States. That's awesome if he actually did do that. So I'll take your word for it. That's awesome.
Amazing stuff. So either way, Nick, welcome in. You made it, and I suspect you were at the game.
Was I ever?
Yes.
let's just say that when Jean de Silva scored the goal, my jersey came off.
Nice.
That is not the first time that has ever happened, but you bet your bottom dollar that it was that monumental. I have not felt that kind of energy inside the Benz since at least 2019, maybe 2018. It has been a long time coming to have that atmosphere back inside the Benz, and it was so fucking great.
It only took the world's best player coming here for all that to happen.
And beating them.
And beating them, yeah.
Yes. And part of you feels bad for those fans, but most of me does not, And we walked all the way across Olympic Park afterwards over to the Waffle House by the Ferris wheel to have dinner, a late dinner. And there were quite a few Messi jerseys there, and it took every last ounce of me to not throw expletives in their direction. I was a nice kid.
Don't throw salt in the wound.
Yep.
I mean, I think that exemplifies the city that we are as well, because some other cities would definitely act in a lot more unsavory type of manner, and way worse. Yeah, you instead held your composure.
Yeah, let that be a lesson to everyone watching too. Hold your composure. Don't be the first to throw nasty words or a punch.
Right. I will never resort to hooliganism of any sort in any way, shape, or form, because that's not what we are. That's not what Tony would have wanted.
Exactly,
let's
especially
put it that way. We all felt his presence in the stadium tonight. We all felt his presence, and kudos to the team for being with the SGs and helping lift his family up and lift all of us up, because it was an emotional night in the supporter section for sure. I felt it. Everybody felt it, and we were all one tonight.
It was incredible.
The energy in there was unreal, and everyone. I don't know if everyone listened to what I said on the last show last Friday of last week. They must have listened to me, because they all brought it. They all fucking brought it, and I was so glad. I was so happy.
Yeah, they absolutely did. It was amazing, and maybe there is some truth to what Alan says, that maybe Messi looked up and saw the supporters group and went like, "Damn, something is going on over there," and it is like. That's pretty European, crazy, high level. Like, I maybe that's what he was thinking. That's awesome.
It's called the 17s, Messi.
Yeah.
The 17s always bring it.
Well,
when we need to,
he's gonna know. He's gonna know for next season that he's gonna mark these games on his calendar. Like, Atlanta has shown me some pretty negative results over my time here. I need to rectify that. He's definitely going to be marking those off. So some comments in the chat. Chris J says, AJ, dude, how buzzed are you eating all those snacks like a squirrel?
Not buzzed.
And I can confirm he's not buzzed, but he is hungry.
Not buzzed. Yes. Yeah. No, it's been an endless supply, right? I've been eating this entire stream nonstop. Yeah, I love me some popcorn, guys. Yeah,
it's making me ridiculously hungry actually watching it. So, Christopher Wire says it's kind of odd Julian Gresle has not played in this series despite how well he played for Miami down the stretch. A follow-up comment is also responding to that, saying maybe Tata knows it'd be too hard on the Atlanta fans to have Gresle out there. So I'll have you guys give your opinions on that.
I don't think that's what it is. It's tactical. It's purely tactical.
Because we have too much pace, and Julian Gresle is not blessed with pace, but he is a very useful player. It is surprising that maybe he hasn't been brought on to, possibly get some minutes. But yeah, he got cooked last time he was at the Benz. So I saw no chance that he was going to start that match or this match tonight. But in Fort Lauderdale, yeah, I mean, that probably would have been. But I think it also is this. He has to change something up. It obviously didn't work.
Yeah.
So Tata Martino, he might, you know, I mean, he was playing with wingbacks as well. And so it's, you know, very well, Julian Gresle, that is his best position. So, yeah, I could see it maybe in the third match. And his service, yeah, still, it's top notch. It's just the rest of his game, obviously. Like, he's a winner through and through. He's won everywhere he's played, essentially, even in Vancouver. I mean, maybe not DC, but everywhere else.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I was like, everywhere, except DC, but too bad. But
Wayne Rooney, you can turn off the stream now.
Yeah,
we
right.
commented on you.
Yeah, friend of the stream,
exactly.
Wayne Rooney. That's right.
Right, exactly. But also, I mean, yeah, it's like everybody in Atlanta loves Julian Gresle. So, I mean, it's one of those, like, we'd like to see some appearances maybe, but do we want him to do well against us? Not really.
Hell no.
No.
Hell no.
Yeah,
Nick, do you think that that Luis Suarez and Messi may be getting a little tired? Are they not doing what they essentially have done the whole season to other teams? Or have we just figured them out in your estimation?
I think it's the latter. I think we figured something out with those two because they're not quite connecting. They tried to connect, and it looked like in the first couple of minutes they almost laid a goal in on us. You know, Suarez was coming hot down the middle, and almost got one in. Fortunately, Goose was right on it. You know, and Goose standing on his head again tonight. My goodness. He had at least 4 key saves in that match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Suarez got in one
we-
time too and nutmegged our defender and got into the box area, and I was like, no, not like this. Luckily, it did not materialize, but man, I'm like, that's because I'm like, here's the moment where I talk about how a Barca boy is just going to turn the game on its head because that's what they do, and it luckily didn't materialize.
And that non-goal towards the end where they were clearly way offside. You know, thank goodness the refs got one right. Now, let me back up. Let me back up to the first half real quick for my take on that call. That was one of the lousiest, cheapest, stupid, fucking asinine calls I have ever seen in a football match. Guzan got shoved to the freaking turf, and that would be a yellow card in any league, any day of the week.
Yeah, what does everyone say in the chat about that? About Guzan's thing? I'm just curious if we could like.
He was giving the third degree to the ref, and absolutely holding onto the ball, insisting on a goal kick. You know, and I don't blame him one bit. And who does VAR think they are? Also in that vein.
Yeah.
You know.
It was strange to me. I'm
sorry.
Everyone,
I'm hearing
of
the
course.
crunching of this food in my head.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's the. I mean, this is the extra audio, that you get with the eating stream.
Sorry, Mike.
It's okay. Connor Watson says, Plymouth Argyle legend Wayne Rooney was mentioned. That's true. And then a new Wiseman says, I'll tell right now that I'm not at Whelan's doing karaoke, so I can't get on the stream. Rest in power, Tony. I think he's probably say he maybe is there. That's why he can't do it. But Kevin B says on the broadcast, it didn't look like there was any contact. But I will say the refs were bad all game long. Shore tore into them all game long.
You can bet if Longshore tears into them, he's got a point.
Yeah, and it's this too, though. I mean, I think Conti and Longshore, they both do get on the refs a good bit too. So there is that. I mean, it's I think a common thing that they talk about, but I mean, it is right. It's just that, yeah. I mean, for me, I'm not always hyper focused on the ref because it tends to even out, and when it doesn't, that's when, okay, yeah, we're gonna say something. We have to say something because yes, there is. I think you know, back to the top of the show, like refs read stuff. Refs, yeah, are not immune to news. Like there are things, if things get, you know, things boil over, things get critical. I mean, yeah, just in the opposite way, I don't think they want their names, you know, associated with a bad call, but, you know, a controversial call where some people, you know, it's like, yeah, if we're fighting against it, but, you know, Inter Miami fans are fighting for it, it'd be a whole different type of back and forth and discourse completely. But I think it's this. It's like, okay, you know, I think large in part, the temperature of the fans, I think really is, I think, the telltale sign. And there weren't, besides the one with, you know, Tiara, I think the Guzan one was just so much bewilderment that I don't really know if we can, like, I don't think the fans really could, you know, figure out exactly what had happened, because in the stadium you really don't get the benefit of a ton of replays,
and you're not expecting something controversial to happen at that point too. So you're not like, you know, examining every second when Guzan's about to just do what he normally does.
Right, a drop kick. It's like, yeah, like that's gonna be usually a little bit more of the thing you don't really pay attention to in a match.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, he's gonna launch it. Okay.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna, you know, really. Everyone's like, you know, having their camera up for, you know, a Guzan drop kick. No, like,
so,
it could be for a penalty, it could be for a free kick, that type of stuff.
Connor Watson rebuts in the chat by saying, for me, the only reason I think it shouldn't stand is the attacker clearly tries to impede the kick from Guzan. There was intent, and Guz clearly had this happen due to that movement.
I mean, yeah, he's right. I mean, it's a bad call, but, you know, I think the better thing to pull away from this is that we were resilient. Mm-hmm. We didn't let it affect us. We actually started to play better.
Yeah, and don't do it again.
Yeah, exactly. Next time, just kick the dude.
Can we just not give them gifts? Can we not give Miami gifts? I don't know why we have to keep giving them gifts every game. It's so frustrating.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Nick, what is your opinion on Miranchuk this game? Because he was kind of apparently a controversial player.
Divisive.
Divisive, but he impressed me at times tonight. He tried to put another howler that went just off goal, you know. He was going
forced
for
us.
Again,
yeah,
for
it
sure.
forced a good save from Drake Callender too.
Yep. Mm-mm. So I think he's still finding his place. It sucks that you have to do it in the playoffs, but under probably momentous pressure. I mean, yeah.
It's definitely
I will say that. Going back to the ref thing, to wrap that up for me, my rant probably would have been way worse had we lost the game.
Yeah.
So that was the tame version. I was already thinking towards the next couple of minutes after that. I'm like, I'm going to say so many 4-letter words on the stream later tonight. And fortunately, that did not happen. But
yeah,
there are a lot of 4-letter words, aren't there? Huh.
Toys. Okay, never mind.
you went there first. Interesting, but
no.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think ultimately it's this, right? Atlanta United, we have momentum. We have them pretty much where the pressure lies completely with Messi and Inter Miami. And I mean, for you, Nick, I said I was zen coming into this match. How are you feeling coming into this match? And then how are you feeling after and going into game 3?
I am on board with this team. I am with them to the last fucking second. I believe them now. I believe in them now. I never gave up hope, you know? And to prove to you, I never gave up hope. You familiar with the Champ app, right?
Mhm.
Both of y'all. I put down a 2-1 prediction that we would win tonight. Nailed it.
Yep. High five, man.
I believed
exactly.
in them, and they came through.
Yeah, Mike thought it was going to be 3-2, which still would have been a win. But, yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah, that would have been a lot of goals. And
Yeah.
would have been great entertainment. But I
mean,
don't
like,
know.
but this was before I knew that like Stian wasn't gonna be there because I was like, you know, it's very clearly we were probably gonna get a goal from Saba, a set piece, Galazzo hopefully from Miranchuk, and then a Stian header goal is where I was thinking all they would come from. So none of those are far fetched, and I thought that they could be accomplished at home with 70,000 behind them. It perhaps could have if Stian was in this game, but instead, I guess, you know, Williams had to rise up
Derek
instead.
freaking Williams?
Yeah.
Really? I was like, to all of us around us, I was like, who thought Derek Williams was going to score? Nobody said yes to that.
Yeah,
Exactly. Narrator, nobody.
yeah, it came
It's,
out of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's like I think somebody dropped into the Discord where you know, the missed chances, the negative XG that Derek Williams had coming into this match, second to last in terms of most likely to score, essentially, at least on this team, and he came through. It's I mean, I don't know what it is. It's everything that we're subverting.
Yeah,
Like-
minus 1.99, right above Saba at minus 2.63.
Yeah. Which, that's what's wild, is Saba's missed so many chances.
yeah,
Yeah, like, but he still has been our best player. And that just tells you, it's like, yeah, it doesn't mean you're a bad player. It just means that, okay, you're maybe not the most clinical.
yeah.
You get yourself in the position.
I mean,
You
it
just
also
have
is
to be
position
more
dependent because like Stian is the highest one on the list.
For sure. But that's the thing. It's like, you know, I can see why he maybe overperforms it, because he's just a little bit more inevitable. Like his extra talent, I guess, or maybe that's not the best term, but his prevailing thing for him is that he's probably going to be the tallest guy on the pitch, and he's willing to use it. And so, like that's really, I think, the X factor. That's probably maybe the better term here. And, you know, it's I think we need to find more of those type of players. And, you know, what's their X factor? Okay, yeah, you know, Jose
Pedro's
Martinez,
left
obviously, yeah, clinical. We need more clinical players. That's the inevitable thing that I'm harping on, that we haven't had in some years. And yeah, you know, hopefully the season doesn't end soon enough that we have to worry about that, you know, until we have to worry about it. But,
All right, final thoughts, Nick, before we get out of here, because I'm exhausted. I'm gonna fall asleep soon.
yeah.
I hope the entire league is proud of us because they are rooting for us to win. All the 27 other sides are rooting for us to win because they are probably tired of all the GOAT talk. And I feel their energy. We feel their energy pushing us to win Game 3. We have the most awesome opportunity in the world, and we have the most awesome momentum right now. to go down there and just smack them in the face one more time.
Yeah.
And after that, I don't care what we do. That's my season right there.
Yep.
I don't want the cup.
Hey,
I just want
Nick's
this
on
game
board with
3
my
win.
trophy idea.
You guys, I love you guys. but yeah, let's get some trophies.
Yeah.
You know,
One game
This,
at a time.
exactly. I agree, and it is though. You know, if we do, and if we can shock the world, hell yeah. You know, let's be petty. That's our you know, that's our gift. I think is being petty, because when we're the villains, when we're the evil empire in this league, it's just way more fun.
Yeah.
And once we
Yes,
can
it
get back
is.
into that,
Yep. Taylor Twellman he doesn't say everything correct, but that was definitely something he said that was correct. It's best when Atlanta United is the bad guys and they're winning.
exactly. I mean, I
All over
remember saying
again.
that. But it is, yeah. It's just, you know, you need a villain in this league, and yeah, Messi and all that. It's like, okay, that's not really the villain though. That's just like, you know, that's like we're essentially Iceland. And you know, I don't know who it is and who are the Mighty Ducks, but you know, when we can get back to Iceland and that energy, oh, it's just levels that we can ascend to. But anyway, Nick, thank you so much.
Whack.
Pleasure as always. Enjoy the rest of your night, man.
Thank you, gentlemen, very much. We'll see you next week. Go Atlanta United. Vamos ATL.
Thanks, baby. All right, good night.
Good night.
All right, let me read a couple more of these, and then we'll be out of here because I am failing right now to stay awake.
Gonna pass out on stream, yeah.
Let's
The
see.
coffee also energized me, so.
I'm so hungry too. I can't wait to eat some. Bryson Cicero says, "What's up, boys? Long time no see. Donde está Messi?" I was saying this after we walked out. I was kind of feeling a little like Saudi Arabia after beating Argentina in the World Cup in the group stage when they were saying, "Where's Messi? Where's Messi?" He says, "Hope both of you have been doing well, Mike and AJ. Appreciate it. Thank you, bro." He says, Williams is class. Also that the beautiful thing about tonight is that it was about 80% ATL and 20% Messi. Yeah.
Was that 1 in every 20, did I say? So, sure.
You said
That
1
math
every
checks
20.
out. Yeah, we'll count it. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It's 12. It's 12:30
It's past
right now.
midnight math. Connor Watson says, I'll give Derek the pass because he has like 75% of that XG on target. Also had some unfortunate saves against him. Yeah, I mean, it's not from lack of trying. The guy was due, I thought. Like when he talked, like I said in that press conference earlier in the season, he's like, I've scored before. I want to get on the board because the team needs other people to step up and do that because at the time the team wasn't scoring. So he took that upon himself. He felt that need to stand up, and he finally did it. And it couldn't have come at a better time.
Yeah. What a great job, Joe. Wow. Is that it? No, is that all the comments?
Another one just came in. Juan Carlos Gallo says, I was at the game. The energy was amazing. The atmosphere was great. That last minute goal had me going crazy. Yeah, man. It was bonkers. It was crazy bananas. It took us all by surprise. We were just kind of experiencing the moment. My friend likes to say the term surrender to the moment, surrender to the experience. And that is what it felt like, just riding a wave of euphoria in the stadium. Connor also says, can't help but not love Derek. Alan Salazar, what's up, buddy? He says, keep rolling crits on a D20. Yeah, it certainly does feel like that. Certainly does feel like that. So.
Well, speaking of surprise, there's going to be a surprise vlog for this game. So stay tuned on all of the the socials and of course the YouTube for that vlog coming up. So
you'll be able to
Good
see
to
a lot of our instant reactions to things and our opinions on things as they unfolded in real time. So that'll be fun. Connor also says, "Wait, that wasn't worded right." I don't know. It's late. It's like listen. It's fine, Connor. Half of my brain is not working right now. I was just at the Georgia Aquarium this week, and they talk about how when sharks are swimming, they never actually fall asleep. Just one half of their brain shuts off, and the other half keeps going, and then they stay able to swim, and half of their brain sleeps. I feel like that's me right now. So we need to head on out of here. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. Yeah, I want to say get your comments in, but we're not gonna wait that much longer. So real quick, type. And if I'm not hearing any more comments in another 10 seconds, I'll let AJ sign us out. But last word real quick on this. We continue to do the improbable. And the whole league is just reaching out. Even Orlando is supporting us in this campaign to fight like the Thanos of this universe. Like like all the Guardians of the Galaxy, everyone is getting together to be like, we need to beat Messi. And it's just it's kind of like, we were talking about us being the villains, but like it almost feels like we're the protagonists, representatives of the league right now. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. Obviously we'll go back to being not so adored if we beat Messi after that. We'll just go back to who we were. But it was fun while it lasted in that kind of view, in that shade. So yeah.
Right. And if we can do it, can we Tony Stark snap, Thanos into non-existence?
Yeah.
That's the geekiest stuff that we've ever said on this this show, but yeah. I'm here for it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Yeah. Bryson says, thanks, boys. Have a good night. And that's a good night to all of you out there in TV land. Alan also says, it was an epic moment. Props to the fans. Yeah, it was, you had to be there. This was a great one. This was definitely a top, I don't know if I think it could be Mount Rushmore levels of, Atlanta United experiences. It was pretty awesome. Thanks for everyone who was there, who hung out, came, said hi, and made this unique experience tonight a one for the memory books, history books. Jesus Christ, I'm tired. Yeah. So with that, AJ, you want to sign us out?
Yeah. Everyone, much love to you and your mothers. so much for sticking around until now. But guys, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. I've been AJ. That's Michael. We'll see you in the next video. Good night.